The FIFA World Cup is expanding. In 2026, we will have 40 more games and 48 teams. Whilst this is not the introduction of a biannual world showpiece that Arsene Wenger has called for in recent years, it is a significant change. But being bigger doesn't automatically mean better. We want to ask, what does this new format look like? How does this change the tournament? What is the true motivation behind this by FIFA and the impact on the players? This is Curiously Sport and our unpacking of the expanded World Cup in 2026.
Hosted by the USA, Canada and Mexico, the 2026 men's tournament is set to be the biggest in World Cup history. The current 64-match format will be increased to 104 games. There will be 12 groups of 4 instead of the originally proposed 16 groups of 3. That's 4 more groups than we saw in Qatar. The top 2 and 8 best third-place teams progress to the round of 32. Overall, this will mean that the tournament could go on to last around 38 to 40 days. In the last World Cups, 64 matches took place over a span of only 32 days.
The 2022 version of the World Cup in Qatar proved to be the final in the old format. In terms of qualifying, Asia and Africa have been boosted by extra qualifying spots for the 2026 version, seeing the Asian Football Confederation getting 8 spots, whilst Europe will have 16 spots. Due to the hosts Canada, Mexico and the USA all automatically qualifying for the tournament, there are 3 up for grabs in CONCACAF. For bigger nations, qualifying, which arguably has been seen as a foregone conclusion in recent years, might have any drama lessened even further, as both the World Cup and European Championships become harder not to qualify for. Although the idea of less jeopardy might not be that appetizing to the major nations that regularly qualify, this change could prove transformative for nations who have often found disappointment in qualifying. Looking at the consistent struggles of, say, Ireland, Northern Ireland and Scotland to qualify, or across Europe, the likes of Austria, Albania, Sweden and Norway putting their recent woes behind them. This might even give Italy a chance this time. In 2022, the likes of Colombia, Chile, Nigeria and Egypt also missed out. They might be welcoming this increase.
So what actually is the motivation behind this? It's hard to come to one conclusion, but there's a couple to draw on. Is it money motivated? I mean, more games mean more broadcast rights, more ticket revenue, more partnerships, more advertising opportunities, and more. FIFA have just posted record revenues of more than $7 billion for 2019 to 2022 and are promising to hit $11 billion for 2023 to 2026. If money isn't the main motivator, it's still a major benefit from expanding the tournament. I guess there's also a flip side, to be fair. There is the notion of getting more countries involved. Think about the countries that missed out in the last World Cup tournament. With 16 more spaces, there will be room for them to have a better opportunity of making it to the world's biggest stage. They can also enjoy the benefits of being at a World Cup, such as local financial boosts, grassroots interests, and overall interest in the game. We have to be careful we don't just see this through the eyes of the bigger nations. This could be a massive deal for some of the smaller ones.
Recent years have seen high-profile players speak of the growing strain of fixtures and congested schedules, particularly post the pandemic in 2020. As reported by the New York Times, this change is likely to anger players' unions and clubs concerned about the heavy workload imposed on the game's stars. But in fairness, despite the headline-grabbing number of 104 games, the country that goes on to win the 2026 World Cup will only have to play 1 more game, and qualifying is not going to be radically changed either from a workload perspective. However, when you add this increased World Cup in the mix of an expanded UEFA Champions League starting in 2024, the recent expansion of the European Championships, increased Copa America side, and just to add even more, a bigger Club World Cup starting in 2025, you start to see a greater problem. Is this actually going to improve the quality we see at the top level with this increased strain on the players? There is an argument to be made that the lesser jeopardy in qualifying due to more spots being available means that major nations will have more incentive to rotate their squads in the intense domestic seasons for their clubs. There were very real concerns about this before the Qatar World Cup, and although we did get to see a very entertaining tournament, the long-term impact on fitness and performance is still to be revealed.
So there we have it. 48 teams, 104 games, and a whole heap of controversy. FIFA get more cash, players get busier, fans have to fork out more, and the endless debate of too much football being played rumbles on. On the plus side, those nations who have been used to narrowly missing out might just get to the biggest tournament in world football. With the legacy and financial benefits that can generate, does it all balance out? There's definitely 2 sides of the fence here. Which one are you on?